Hello, this is Lad98. I did some work with pine needles. For if you want to see that work, please visit the Ashen Skull blog. This video will be focusing on this configuration of the magnetic coil, which is the alternating magnetic coil. So two magnetic coils reiterate the energies of the magnetic current through air, and I'll explain how it does this in this video. This research is new. Okay, it is a new. It'll provide a new way of thinking about electricity and magnetism, and could lead to new technologies that I have not conceived of, which is why I am doing this video. It's a new way for sharing thoughts and feelings, not just with other people, but with other things as well. When a current of electricity, when a stream of electrons passes through a wire, there is a potential waveform effect that radiates in space and decreases in strength according to the distance it is from the wire squared. So the momentum of the particles times the velocity crossed with the velocity is equivalent to this function. Okay, when a magnet is exposed to the magnetic flux, it absorbs the magnetism according to this equation here. And that force does not radiate out. When a non-magnetic material is affected by this magnetic coil structure, the atoms deflect the waves and produce sound. This sound is similar to the waveform that is generated by the ion transfer in the brain. When ambient signals pass through the air in the form of any sort of sound, it generates, either by memory or by automation, these sound frequencies we receive as thought. So previously I described the soul as the potential for something to be existing in a previous video, which is a very feminine concept. I believe I have actually reconstructed a physical external soul, which, when I place into the effect of an object, a non-magnetic object, the energies from this complex shape radiates out as this high frequency sound. When the two coils are separated, there is a frustration where they know they are apart and they want to come together as magnets attract each other, but there is not enough force for them to physically be able to do that. So while each coil is generating their own energy onto the bar, they are both also generating energy onto themselves, thus creating a reiteration effect that you don't see with a direct current coil. the way alternating current works in a wire is when 200 years ago, not 200, yes, 200 years, wait, no, okay, when it was discovered, it was two electrical resistances reconducting the same electrical current passing through the same wire to produce an oscillation effect. Rather than to simply drive one stream of electrons from one point to the other, the momentum is being generated by the two nodes exchanging electrons from each other. So when the wire passes, when the electrons pass through one resistance, it is in a different frequency than when it passes through the second resistance, and though they interfere with each other, producing the alternating effect. These three parameters, this is the simple electrical equation for the direct current. These are the parameter equations for the alternating current. When I combine these three together, the force, the momentum, the energy, and the time for when you're placing the first coil before the second coil, this demonstrates the force you would get. The difference of the second coil acting on the first is the cross product of the two parameters of either coil plus the original total equation here. I wrote about the magnetic fluxes at relativistic speeds because when the electron jumps from one orbital to the other, in which case is accelerated in the presence of a magnetic coil that I've seen, it produces light. I have not been able to measure it, but these objects that are being energized should be able to produce more light than standard materials. But at relativistic speeds, the magnetism is stripped from the atoms, while light continues to travel at the same speed. In orbitals, the electron takes up the space of maximum energy possible given by the radial space within that each orbital shell occupies. Follows this equation: 2 times whatever is 2 times the first shell squared is 2 electrons, so it will only hold 2 electrons. 2 times 5 squared, which is 50, because 5 squared is 25, will take up the G orbital shell. Now the first 120 elements do not have this G orbital shell. It completes itself at element 50 plus 32 plus 18 plus 8 plus 2, which is 28, 32, 60. What? Which is when it reaches the G electron shell configuration, it has to have 8 more electrons to become a noble gas, and then more electrons to occupy the next F electron shell. So as atoms get bigger, they become softer in character capable to generate several more waveforms with the more different electrons occupying each valence shell that they have. The important thing about that is the electron actually takes up space aside from the proton, a set distance, which is given by the amount of force it can generate instantaneously, and it produces light accordingly. That is why heavier materials like actinium glow by themselves, because the protons are releasing light. This is the energy jump for the large coil, and these are the energy jumps. These are the energy jumps for the two consecutive small coils. Notice that at this time, I add the second coil. This is a demonstration, not an actual measurement. I add the second coil. The result should be, even though it takes a longer time to charge, the two coils generate a stronger, deeper sensation through air than the single large coil. It's better to do this only with heavier materials that are near the bottom of the table, not elements that are higher up in the table, the lighter elements, because they generate simpler waveforms that are less capable of channeling thought. The equation for exactly how each electron would respond to the incoming flux of a magnetic field line is given by this simple equation. I didn't want to get into the vector space analysis of this because, well, it is very complicated, and I have learned from a long time of being with your people that you don't like that, so I simplified this for you. So these inanimate objects, when a soul is imparted onto them in this way, generates thought according to the spiral nature of the universe. When magnets are assembled in a coiled configuration, they generate a dynamic flux of energy that interferes with the atomic structure of the material and causes communications. This will be in the next. Okay, yes, this will be in the next video when I explain the applications and implications of such things. Thank you. Goodbye. And we go to this. Stop.